This is Endless Suburbia for Steam, developed by Horrid Vision LLC and released in July of 2023. Endless Suburbia is a realistic-looking horror game, and it was a confusing one for me to play and review. I started in on this game, and after playing it for just a little bit, I found myself frustrated and torn. Now, it wasn't an expensive game, it was only a few dollars, and I'm going to say it was worth what I paid, I think $3 or $4. But I find myself questioning if this is actually really a game at all. Maybe it's more like a tech demo, or maybe it's better qualified as just a horror experience. Don't get me wrong, it's a great looking experience, or demo. It's photorealistic for the most part if you play it on a high-end machine. I'm just playing this on a basic gaming laptop with graphics set to medium, and it looks great. The higher settings are even more crazy. But past these graphics, it doesn't feel like it offers much past the most basic aspects of a game. Ultimately, you kind of do nothing. Let me try to summarize the gameplay. You're in a car, and you're driving around a large neighborhood. I don't know if this is a fixed course or a procedurally generated environment, and I don't think it matters. All I know is that it's big. You steer your car using the WASD keys. You also get the E key, which probably isn't needed, but it is a slight zoom. And you can also look over your left shoulder just a little bit with the mouse, and you can look more over your right shoulder. That's where you can see the back seat or the road behind you. For most scenarios, at one point or another, you're automatically going to look to your left or your right. The system is just going to do it for you, and that's to let you know that something unsettling is happening. To be honest, that's kind of it for gameplay. That's really what you do in this game. You're driving around, and you're kind of looking around at a pristine sort of neighborhood. I mean, it looks great. Sometimes you start during the day, and it's sunshine outside, and other times you're at night. Sometimes it rains, and sometimes it gets really dark. It all looks awesome. But you have no people to avoid. There are no traffic lights. There's no traffic. It's just you driving around. Eventually, after you're driving around for a few minutes, something is going to happen. You're going to see something or you're going to hear something, depending on whatever scenario you're in. Maybe a giant spider runs across the road, or there are going to be lights in the sky. Then it gets darker, and eventually you get to whatever the jump scare is for your scenario. And that's the finale. If you start again, it's going to load up a different scenario. But it's the same thing. You drive around until there's a jump scare, and then you start over. So it's kind of less of a game and more of you just experiencing a jump scare. Something I would consider probably more scary the first time you experience it. They do make sound effects pretty well here, and they are timed right to make you jump. And I certainly did at a few places. Even knowing what was happening, it gave you some chills for sure. The first scenario was me driving around and there were lights in the sky. It was an alien invasion, it seems. Eventually, the scare is that my car is stopped, and an alien sort of steps out, and then I was abducted. It kind of took me 10 minutes of wondering what this game was before this happened. That was my first scenario. And then I went online to search and see if I was missing something, some sort of gameplay option. Nope. You can't run away. You can't fight back. It's just over. The next scenario was creepier, I think. There was a large spider that ran across the road as I was driving, and we're talking a spider the size of a large dog. Yeah, it was creepy. Eventually, when you look behind you, you're being chased by a 10 or 20 foot spider monster. That really creeped me out. It can't catch you though, but eventually you automatically pull over, and there are suddenly 4 or 5 spiders in your car, and they just get you. I don't know why my windows weren't rolled up. I thought they were, but it was definitely chilling, especially with the music and the sounds. Next, I'm driving around, being chased by another car. Every now and again, I think they bump the car, and eventually you get into a front-end collision. It was a quick half-second jump scare. Then there was this really inclement weather. It was something that kind of looked like a sandstorm, but eventually it was a tornado that grabbed my car. It lifted me in the air, and it dropped you. And then one of them was a killer mime. It just, in the middle of the night, this mime races out from the side of the road, and they apparently gets into your car. You can stare at him, and then as soon as you look away, he gets you. There's also a rapture. Just an angel comes down, really, and you're in heaven. That's probably my least favorite of the bunch. When I got through all of these scenarios, once, when I was through the first time, an option appeared at the bottom of my screen. and it let me choose whatever scene I wanted to play again. But then my game crashed, and now that option isn't there anymore, so I don't know, maybe I have to go through it all again. I did get a handful of jump scares out of this one for sure, but like I said, it feels less like a game, and it probably could have just been a rendered video to watch online. Maybe it wouldn't be as effective, I don't know. You have so little control in this, it got me confused. It's definitely sort of a scary, horrific experience, but I can't fight back in the slightest. I can't even crash my car. I can't get out and run. I can't fight back in any capacity. I can't dodge and keep going. I'm just waiting for the jump and for it to be over. Is there an enjoyment in that? Sure, but the replay value is pretty low. Maybe you'd want to show a friend to see their reaction, I suppose. That could be a thing. But then again, that's not me playing a video game, but just waiting for someone else's reaction. But if you're interested in horror games, even though it's less of a game and more of an experience, you will get an hour or so out of it, and there are some decent jumps. I mean, for the price I paid, I think $3 or $4, I'm okay with it. It's just kind of confusing. Well, that's all I have today for Endless Suburbia. Thanks for stopping by to take a look, and hope to catch you on another video.